My name is Clarence Moore. I'm a writer, author, entrepreneur, and life enthusiast. I don't know if you know how important trains were to the development of the United States. The entire west part of the United States could not have even been founded if not for trains, or settled if not for trains. They are a irreplaceable facet of the United States transportation and delivery industries. In fact, few industries are so vital for life as we know it, to the point that they can move mountains and goods from point A to point B. In the late 1980s, there was a man by the name of Henry who boarded a steam locomotive for the first time in his life. He was amazed at the massive engine that would pull thousands of tons across hundreds of miles. Now, Henry was on his way to strike it rich in the city. After working in his father's farm for his entire life, he thought, now was time for a change. Now was time for me to leave everything behind, but he was scared. It was all he had ever known. But something told him he had to go. It was time, and something was burning deep down inside of him that he just couldn't put to words. On his way in, he saw an older man with a suitcase that he could not lift onto the train. So he quickly went to go help him, being the good southern boy he was. Henry didn't know then, but that old man would tell Henry the greatest lesson of his success. After Henry had helped him to get his things inside the train, he was surprised to find out that that man was a first-class passenger. Even more, he told Henry to stay and chat. So the old man was an entrepreneur, and he had been his entire life, so he had amassed a great fortune and success. He told Henry, he would tell him how he amassed that fortune. But first, he asked, did he know how a train worked? Henry didn't know, so the man told him, there's an engine, and in the engine there's a great furnace that burns both wood and coal. The heat is then transferred to a boiler that would evaporate the water and force the pistons to open and close. The hotter the fire gets, the faster it goes. The tracks would then guide the train to its next destination, and the conductor would control the train to ensure that it didn't burn out or go too fast or anything that could go wrong with the train. If success is the destination, then there are 5 steps to get you there and harness your limitless potential. The first step is understanding what passion really is. It is a drive, a love, and a deep desire to the point of obsession. It is an over-mastering feeling or conviction that speaks to us in a primal voice. Passion does not understand language. It is triggered deep in the mind. Passion can be dangerous if not harnessed correctly. It doesn't align itself to morality, and it can rot with age and dissipate with time. Passion is emotional, it is impulsive, and just as quick to come as it is to run away. That's why people who marry for passion often get a divorce. Passion is the kindling that is thrown into a furnace. Passion is the wood that the entrepreneur uses as fuel. For it to be so fickle, passion is more valuable than both knowledge, experience, and even gold. Someone that doesn't have experience will gain it in time. Some people who are ignorant can be taught what they don't know. Passion, on the other hand, it can't be taught, and it isn't something that time gives you. When someone is passionate, they will, on their own accord, go beyond and above the call of duty to gain the knowledge and the experience they need. Passion alone doesn't do much. It is emotional. It is single-minded. For step 2, you will have to ignite that passion with motivation. And motivation is often an outside force or experience that pulls our attention. Motivation gives reason for passion to move and act. So if passion is the wood, then motivation is the fire. Motivation can grow, and motivation breathes, but motivation is dependent on passion. Motivation will get you up once or twice, but if motivating grows too fast, it will burn up passion and die. The thing about fire is that it will burn anything you throw into it, good or bad. People were motivated to move after Hurricane Harvey. That motivation was not passion. It was necessity or fear. Motivation is limited and only good for short stretches because it will burn passion then die out. By itself, fire is good for keeping warm. But if you place that fire in a furnace, then you can move mountains. Step 3 is inspiration. The driving reason behind your actions that can last a lifetime. It is the engine that turns the heat into motion. It is the train that we're riding even now. Inspiration is not a one-time. It's the furthest from conscious thought and understanding, detached from all emotion but pure desire. Where motivation is an outside force that pulls our attention, inspiration is an internal force that pushes you forward. It is the hardest thing in the world to get going and nearly impossible to start again once stopped. When a person is inspired, they will focus their actions to act in unison with the things that they want, not just to warm themselves by the fire of passion and motivation, but they will put these two things to work. The secret to success is using these to your advantage. You don't have to be like the countless other passionate, motivated, and inspired people that became lost in the muddle. The difference between a successful person doesn't just lie in those things. They have to be able to plan a course. They have to seek knowledge, mentors, and humble themselves to learning and criticism. A successful person will seek the fourth step, which is intelligence, the logical reasoning to go from point A to B, where you are right now to wherever in life you want to be. It is the tracks from which we guide ourselves down to our ultimate purpose. If you fail to plan, then you plan to fail. You cannot hope to fall into success. It takes planning. You're going to have to plan and miss days drinking with friends. You have to plan on working some days. You have to decide carefully what stops you want your train to make, because some stops are permanent. Like I said before, inspiration is the hardest thing in the world to gain. It's the hardest thing in the world to get moving. But once you stop it, it can be nearly impossible to start it again. That brings us to the last step. The one that controls the train, the conductor. He's the one that watches the fire and feeds it when it slows and smothers it when it gets too hot. He is the one that maps out the track so he knows the path that the train must take. He is emotional intelligence, the understanding and control over one's own emotions. A successful person, like everybody else, is impulsive by nature. He is human, but he understands that he must look past self and think logically over emotionally. He understands that in order to keep the train on track, he can't throw all of the coal into the furnace at once. We must deepen our understandings of ourselves, our motivations, through logic and control of our habits. So just like Henry, we are traveling down a long road, and we have to manage ourselves. And how well you do that will determine how far your train will go. I said that there are many keys, and I separated them out. But don't think of these things as separate from you. You are the wood, and the fire, and the train, and the tracks, and the conductor. We are the guiding forces of our lives, and we have to choose to be successful. Success is a choice. So what are you going to feed your fire? That will determine how far you will go and how you will attack the day. The choices you make today will determine what stops your train will make tomorrow, or if it's going to continue down to the goal. When the train stopped, the old man left Henry with the quote, "A good man fights for himself and his. A great man fights for everyone else." Inspiration breeds inspiration. If you fight for yourself, the best you can be is motivation. You are motivated. You are being pulled to a goal, and people will be motivated to that goal as well. You are a good man. However, if you fight for others, you will inspire others to chase their goals. You will go from a person that can own a company at best to a person that could run the country at worst. My name is Clarence Moore, and life is a story. How you write it will define you.